Do you want to become better arenas, get a better win streak, and just get a really cool looking badge? Of course you do, and in this video I'm going to show you everything you need to know to become the best arenas player you can be. Not too long ago I got a 100 win streak in arenas, allowing me to get this really cool looking badge. I'm not going to lie, the badge actually itself doesn't look that cool. I wish it was animated or something, but the meaning behind the badge is actually kind of insane. But still, 100 wins in a row is crazy. In this video I'm going to give you all the tips I use to get this 100 win streak. I'm going to talk about legend choice, gun choice, playstyle, and just other general tips. With that said though, if you do end up enjoying today's video, please consider subscribing. A like rating is also really appreciated, and if you have any questions, just drop it in the comment section below. Let's get on to the video. The first topic I'm going to talk about is legend choice. In arenas, all the legends abilities are the exact same as they would be if you were in the battle royale, but rather than having a cooldown, the abilities actually have a certain amount you can use per round. For example, Bloodhound starts with only 1 scan, but Pathfinder starts with 3 grapples. And if you want to buy any ultimate abilities, you have to pay extra for that, but every legend gets their natural passive. So that means you don't have to pay anything extra to get Octane's passive heal or Gibraltar's arm shield, that's just natural. I could sit here and tell you each of the legends' tactical usage per round, but honestly I feel that'd be a waste of time, and I'm better just telling you the 3 best legends and maybe some other legends that are also good to use. And the 3 best legends to use are Bloodhound, Gibraltar, and Pathfinder. Bloodhound only gets 1 scan per round, but you can easily buy more, and those Bloodhound scans can be massive in a 3v3 fight. Also, Bloodhound ult can turn you into a 1v3 machine in those arena games. Gibraltar, without paying absolutely anything, gets an arm shield that naturally regens to you. That's an extra 50 HP you don't have to pay for. Gibraltar also spawns with 1 dome, and you can easily afford a second one, and those domes can honestly win you any fight if used properly. A good Gibby is honestly amazing in arenas. His Gibby ult can be pretty useful too. If you just see a team sitting back poking you with their snipers, you can easily Gibby ult them to force them out of it. Last but not least, Pathfinder. Pathfinder spawns in with 3 grapples, and it's really cheap to buy another grapple if you feel like you need it. A grapple can be used right at spawn gates to grapple towards materials to get more money than your enemies next round, or it can be used to single out an enemy that is separated from their teammates, allowing you to win the fight. You can also buy a zipline which can be used by all your teammates, allowing your team to travel faster to the fight area, maybe allowing you to get better angles over your enemies. This is just my opinion, but obviously there's a lot of other good arena comps out there, but this is just what I think is best. You have other legends like Bangalore, Lifeline, and Wraith that can really help out the team, but I think as a whole these are the 3 best legends to play. The next thing I want to talk about is gun choice. When the game first starts, you start with 550 points, leaving you very limited on what you can pick. Before I choose which gun I'm going to use, I want to remember what legend I'm playing. If you buy a cheaper gun, you're able to then buy a battery or some cells. But if you buy an expensive gun, you're kind of just left with an expensive gun, that's all you can use. So what I typically recommend, if you're playing a legend like Pathfinder, where you can grapple towards the bins quicker than your enemy, you don't need to buy a battery, so you can buy a more expensive gun. But if you're playing one of the more slower legends like Gibraltar or Bloodhound, maybe buy one of the cheaper guns like an Alternator or an L-Star, so you can also afford a battery. Some of the cheap options I'd recommend is the L-Star, the Alternator, and the fully decked out Mozambique. You can buy a fully decked out Mozambique with a purple bowl, and you can also buy a battery, and trust me, that thing's like a wingman. It's really good. If you don't care for buying a battery though, some of the good guns you can buy is either the Flatline, the Wingman, or the Volt. As the game progresses with each round, you'll naturally be getting more money, especially if you're picking up materials. Also remember, materials you don't spend will be saved up and saved on to the next round, meaning you can be cost effective and you don't have to spend all your money each round. Try and save up if you can. If you're having a game that's going on for rounds and rounds, there's some things I would always recommend. Always buy an Eva as a secondary because that gun slaps and it's really cheap. Another thing I'd recommend is always buy grenades. Grenades are really useful and can flush enemies out if they're just hiding behind some cover. The last gun tip I'm going to give you is a really useful one. Is at the very start of the game when you pick your main gun, you sometimes randomly get a Mozambique or a P2020. You can actually choose which one you want and it costs absolutely nothing, so if you have a favourite, make sure you pick that. I always pick the Mozambique because I hate the P2020 and I just think the Mozambique's better. But if you like P2020, make sure you pick it. Just make sure you pick one or I'm going to give you a random one and you're not going to be consistent. The next thing I'm going to talk about is playstyle. Not just your own playstyle but also the enemy's playstyle, so you can see what you're fighting and know how to beat them. From what I've seen, there's only 2 different playstyles in arenas. You've got the kind of teams that want to ape and kill, and you've got the teams that want to grab materials and play a lot more slow. If I'm going to be honest, throughout your whole 100 win streak game, you're not going to be consistent with just one playstyle, because some lobbies will be easier and some lobbies will be harder. So one of the best tips I can give you is know when to play which kind of playstyle. Before the game even starts, you get to see your opponents, you can see their team comp and some of their badges if they have any on, and from that you can engage what kind of players they are. If you see a team comp that's like Caustic, Rampart and Watson, you know for a fact they're just going to sit back and poke all game long and not really do much fighting. The one beauty of that though is players like that tend to just sit in a corner and camp up, allowing one of your players to run around and grab all the materials possible. Since they're sitting back not really challenging you, you get all the materials, and the next round you will have a lot more stuff than them, allowing you to buy things like grenades to flush them out of their camping spot, allowing you to just win the game over and over again because you have more stuff than them. On the other hand, you do get some aggro players who will just ape you and just try and kill you as quick as possible, but you can take advantage of that. The aggro comps you're going to see is maybe Pathfinder, Auction and Bangalore. When you're fighting these kind of players, try and stick with your teammates as much as possible because they will try and take advantage of a fair 1v1. So stick together and just play as a team as much as possible, even if you're playing with randoms. Because these players are trying to be as aggro as possible, a lot of them won't play head glitches or cover and will just run straight at you. So be on the lookout for an enemy just running straight at you or flanking around you in the open, because you might be able to get an easy knock. A really good tip against aggro players is typically most of them just fully deck out their gun and forget to buy a lot of healing items. So make sure you take advantage of that and whittle away their health if you can. You may be able to whittle away at them when they're trying to wrap around you, getting different angles, just poke at them and eventually they'll run out. Each player spawns with 2 cells and 2 syringes so they can heal up at least 100 HP. If you don't let them grab those bins, there's essentially nothing they can do and they'll just slowly whittle away. Now I want to give you some other general tips that I think will help you get the win streak, plus also just make you better at arenas. Sometimes when I'm playing arenas I notice a lot of enemies go to the wrong side of the map, and what I mean by that is when the game first starts you can see which way the zone's going to pull, either left or right, and try and make sure you go to that side so you can have a fair fight with your enemies and you don't get zone kept. Another really good way to know which way the zone's going to pull is where the care package lands. There's a care package every single round and it has different guns in it, but if you see where that lands, that is where the zone's going to pull to. Another really odd tip is that if you have any sweat badges, whether it be 20 bomb, 4K, master badge, pred badge, anything like that, stick them on, and if your full squad has one, the enemies might just leave the game letting you have a free win. It can lead to some very boring games, but I mean if you're going for that high win streak, a free win's a free win. And the last tip that I want to give you, which I think is the best tip that anyone can give you, is just don't buy the Spitfire. I fight way too many Spitfire abusers in ranked and I just know they're rubbish because they're using that gun. Do not buy that gun, buy a more skillful gun like the Flatline and you'll become better at the game. I promise. It's the best tip that I can give you. Just don't buy the Spitfire, please. And that's the whole video. Let me know your highest win streak in the comment section below. Mine is 104. On the 104th game, I got put into a lobby against a 3-stack, all using Spitfires, and I was absolutely solo and it was absolutely horrible. Here's some footage of it. I'm not going to lie, I'm very new to doing these tips videos and I'm not the best, but if you did find this video helpful, please let me know in the comment section below. Leave a like. If you're new and this video was helpful, please consider subscribing. With that all said, thank you for watching the video.